Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today sit a while for we are playing some more franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators. So we are 6th in the East. We did start the season really well in October. We went 6-2 and we dipped a little bit in November, not too terribly so, but definitely dipped a little bit. Actually, we had a losing record in November, so we're gonna need to turn that around here in December. Looks like it's gonna be somewhat challenging month. There's a lot of good teams on the calendar. There's always a lot of good teams on the calendar every month, so it's you know it's a challenge that happens every single time. We have a few injuries. So Sheldon Surrey and Norm McIver are both out. Surrey's not going to play this month at all. I, as usual, took a look on the trading block. The few interesting players are D-man, and I'm not really willing to move for a D-man right now. Not for what's available. So Gary Galley is still available. I always was kind of a fan of his, but he's starting to decline. So I think I'm just gonna hold off. Maybe closer to the trade deadline, I'll pull the trigger on something. Maybe try to pass Alexander Degg to somebody or something like that. But other than that, I don't think I'm gonna move now unless somebody makes me an offer I cannot refuse, obviously. So we are going to get going. We are starting the month in Nashville. We're gonna play against Radek Bank. Nashville is up to a dreadful start to the season with a 4-15-3 record, and we did beat them 6-0 on our first home game of the season back in October. So let's get going. Alright, so let's see. Alright, we're playing Sami Salo. That's kind of why I didn't want to trade for a defenseman. I want to have Sami Salo start playing games. He's already 24 and he's only a 1-star, so I want for him to kind of develop a little bit. So hopefully that happens. Sami Salo was a decent defenseman in the NHL, good shot. He was hurt a lot, especially at the start of his career. So we'll see what happens. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there, but we're going with Kirk McLean in net. Nashville is going with Alf of Jeff Hackett in net. If you look at the screen, I'm not sure what that's about. But yeah, Jeff Hackett is kind of cut in half, and he doesn't have a head either. So might be easy to score goals. So looks like the same thing happened to you with Krupp. So let's see what happens. We are playing against severely severed people, and we won 5-2. Good start to the month. I was expecting to win this one. We totally should have, and we did. All right, so we outshot Nashville 36-30 in that game. We did have 10 giveaways and they only had 3. So again, and look at the hits. So they had 23 hits and we had 8. So kind of tells me we probably dictated the pace of play a little bit in that game. Wow, even Nashville has no problems at attracting people in the stands. 14,000 people in Nashville, and I broke 10,000 once, and I've been in the league for a lot longer, and I'm starting to win, and I have Joe Nieuwendyk. Dang. Alright, so Joe Nieuwendyk was the first star of the game yet again. Still really awesome for us. So he had a goal and 2 assists. Daniel Alfredson was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Vili Peltonen was the third star with a goal and an assist. So Joe Nieuwendyk scored from Daniel Alfredson. Then Peltonen on the power play from Joe Nieuwendyk. Daniel Alfredson from Nieuwendyk and Peltonen. Sami Salo scored, I believe that's his first NHL goal, assisted by Yashin and Bill Guerin. And then Marian Osa from Kalle Johansson and Robert Zvela. And Rick Tocchet in this game played in his 1000th game as part of the Nashville Predators now. Right, there's something wrong probably with my save file or something, or maybe they made an update and now it's showing weird. I am not sure why. It's so annoying. Hopefully it's only for Nashville or something and not for every team, because it's going to get annoying pretty fast. But nonetheless, Rick Tocchet played in a 1000 game. At least his right shoulder and arm did. Oh, alright. Quite a bit of news here. No, it's all the teams except for mine, apparently. Sergei Samsonov keeps fans on their feet all night. He had 3 goals, so he had a hat trick against the New York Rangers. Jaromir Jagr extends his point streak to 12 games. He had an assist against the Mighty Ducks. Jason Allison extends his point streak to 14. He had 2 assists against New Jersey. That's pretty good. Brian Rolston had a good game in that same game. He had 2 goals and 4 assists. Wow. 6 points for Brian Rolston. Alright, the team plays worse in the last few weeks. Alright, so we went 6-5-1. Rod Brydon is very happy. Alright. So, he's still very happy, but I need to do better, basically. Oh, God, even my... I didn't notice before, but even my my GM's face is cut off. I'm not sure what it's all about. So I'm gonna finish this video and I'm gonna try to figure it out afterwards. So I apologize if you're really into the face gen models in the game. Apparently they're messed up right now, so I'm gonna try to look that up after the game. Since the game has kind of a auto save feature and everything, I can't really just exit and come back without breaking something. So we're gonna have to tough it up. Alright, Matthew Schneider extends his assist streak to 8. He had a goal and an assist against the Carolina Hurricanes. Scott Young is suspended. He's going to miss 7 games. Now Scott Young plays for the Oilers. Memorable game for Marty McInnes. He had 5 assists. Wow, 9-5 game in 1998. Those didn't happen too often. Alright. Alright, now we are playing against the Kings. The Kings are having a pretty good season. They are 17-5-2, and as we saw in the previous video, Wayne Gretzky is having a bit of a resurgence season. So let's see if we can stop him. Let's take a look at their team. Yanni Lakanen, a personal favorite of mine. I did like him when he played on the Suns, because he showed up at the time where it finally looked like our D would stop sucking so bad. Let's see. Nobody hurt over there. Yanni Lakanen's hurt a little bit. So Byron Dafoe and Kelly Rudy in net. That's decent. Paul Coffey, Lakanen, Rumble, Zitnik, Blake, Joe Corvo, Brad Lukowicz, Kimo Tsunonen. Okay, that D, some of them are not fully developed, but that D is pretty good. Gretzky, Lang, Sean Pronger, Sean Van Allen. Oh, Pavel Rosa, that was... They talked a lot about Pavel Rosa back in Quebec, because I believe he played his junior in the Quebec Junior Major League, and he never quite panned out for the Kings. Never quite became a great player or anything, sadly. So I would say that the D and the goaltending is pretty good. The offense is average at best. Past Gretzky and Robitaille, it starts to dwindle down a little bit. So let's see if we can beat them. We have Sami Salo, who is a goal per game in his career so far. So let's go ahead and sim this. They are going with Kelly Rudy. We are going with Kurt McLean. And we won. Home win against the Kings, 4-1. The final score. They did outshoot us 34-31. And we had 10,326 people in attendance, so we're starting to win, so we're starting to see a little bit more people. I think that my fan interest was in the toilet because I've been losing so much at the start of this playthrough, and it's been hard to get that number back up since it works with a system where you lose a game, you lose points, you win a game, you gain points, and I've been losing a lot more than I've been winning since the start. So I think that's probably part of my problem. So, for the 1 win, Alexei Yashin had a pretty good game. He had 3 assists. He was a first star. Kurt McLean had a good game as well, 33 saves, second star. And Johnny Van Dyke, also a pretty good game, third star with 2 goals and an assist. So, Johnny Van Dyke is not slowing down for us. That's awesome. So, Johnny Van Dyke scored both of his goals in the first period. First one assisted by Brian McCabe and Alexei Yashin, and then a power play goal from Yashin and Bill Guerin. Then Guerin scored from Yashin. And finally, in the third period, Daniel Alfredson scored from Christian Laflamme, first assist there, and Johnny Van Dyke. And finally, Rob Blake scored on the power play at 11:45 to keep Kurt McLean from getting a shutout. Alright, so we've been beating decent teams. We haven't only won against bad teams. So Nikolai Borchevsky and Rick Tabaracci are available. Yeah, not gonna get either. Jaromir Jagr extends his point streak to 13 games. He had an assist against the Hurricanes. Georges Larac is back from suspension. John Leclerc keeps fans on their feet all night. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against New Jersey. Of course, John Leclerc is still playing for Montreal in my universe. Matthew Schneider extends his assist streak to 9 games with a goal and 2 assists in that same game against the Devils. Oh, Pat Quinn is angry at the local media over Vancouver coverage. So Vancouver still has a winning record of 12-10-3, but I guess they have been losing lately, so. Jason Allison extends his point streak to 15 games with an assist against the Islanders. So he got an assist, but they lost, and he has a 15-point streak, but they keep losing. That's not good. Alright, now we are playing the New York Rangers. We are playing them at home. The Rangers also have a pretty good season. They are 15-8-1 for 31 points. We are ahead of them in the standings only because we are first in our division. We have 27 points. So the Rangers have more points. They're behind us in the standings because of how in 1998 the NHL was structuring the playoff brackets. So the first team of each division would go 1, 2nd, and 3rd. So as you can see, the Carolina Hurricanes are 3rd, even though they only have 23 points, which otherwise would put them outside of a playoff spot. But they are the best of the worst division in the East, so they are 3rd. That seeding was not my favorite. Although I have to admit I don't like the one that the NHL currently has. They're trying too hard, I think, right now in 2020 to go for rivalries. And what happens is that you have rivalries in the first round of the playoff, but when you get into the final, it's never a rivalry because, I mean, was there really a rivalry between St. Louis and Boston? I don't think so. But what I would like to see, though, well, no, I wouldn't like to see that, but a Stanley Cup final between Boston and Montreal would be pretty intense. No, I wouldn't like to see that because I wouldn't like to see the Habs in the finals. But to me, that's where you want your rivalry to play out, is in the most important games of the season. Anyway, that's just my personal opinion on the matter. So that explains why we are second and why the Rangers are fifth despite having 4 more points than us. So let's take a look at their lineup. No injuries. They are as healthy as it goes. So Mike Richter is still a pretty good goaltender. They have Patrick Lalime as the backup. That's also pretty good. Brad Bombardier, Brian Leach, Mertzig, Klee, Delmore, Richards, Dmitry Yuskevich, Sergei Zubov. Okay, that's an excellent first pair. And then OKD after that. Graves, Messier, Sundstrom, Brendan Morrison. Alright, and they also have a decent offense, although their bottom lines are not all that great. So they do have a pretty good team. It's going to be pretty hard to beat them. Alright, they are going with Mike Richter. We are going with Mike Dunham. Alright, let's play the Rangers. And we won again, 4-1. Wow, great start to the month. 3 wins in a row. So, let's take a look at that. We outshot them 35-32. So it looks like we have somehow fixed the shots issues, at least for the shots against us. I haven't been allowing 50 shots on goal on the regular anymore, although I have been getting 50 shots, at least in November, quite a bit. So, that was a game with a lot of penalty minutes. Alright, so again, we had over 10,000 people in attendance, 10,622. We are starting to do better. We're winning. People are coming to see Joe Nieuwendyk be the first star almost every single game because he was a first star again. With a goal and 2 assists. Mike Dunham was the second star with 31 saves. Pretty good. And Robert Zvela was the third star with a goal and an assist. Alright, so all of our goals were scored in the third period, so we were trailing 1-0 all game, and then in the third period we decided to start playing. So Kelly Johansson scored for us from Joe Nieuwendyk and Robert Zvela. Then Mike Ratji scored on the power play nonetheless. Wow. Assisted by Joe Nieuwendyk and Bill Guerin. Joe Nieuwendyk scored on the power play from Bill Guerin and Alexei Yashin, and Zvela scored in an empty net from Magnus Arvidsson and Mike Sillinger. Oh, Brian Leach got suspended in this game against us, and he's going to miss 8 games. That'll teach you to do whatever it is you did against one of my players. Alright, so let's go ahead and see. Jaromir Jagr extends his point streak to 14 games. He had a goal against the Bruins. Thomas Sandstrom played in his 1000th game. He was held scoreless against Detroit. So pretty good career for Thomas Sandstrom. Oh, he's declined quite a bit. He's 34 now and he's only a 1 star. Ooh, the Maple Leafs might be making a coaching change. Pat Burns is unable to get his team going. The Leafs are 3-20-3. We might not see that division rivalry against Toronto because with a record like that, I don't think they're going to be in the playoffs. And they can't save their bad seasons with a good draft because I don't have redrafts. So It's going to be interesting to see what happens in Toronto. Matthew Schneider's assist streak ended at 9 games. He was held. Oh, he did get a goal though in that game against Toronto. Okay. Lyle O'Deline is back from suspension. No further action needed for New Jersey's Tony Amante, who is not being suspended. And Jason Allison extends his point streak to 16. He had an assist against Philadelphia, but yet again his team lost. He must be frustrated. He's putting up points. He has that awesome streak going, 16 games, and the Capitals keep losing. Oh, Dmitry Yushkevich is injured with the Rangers, so they already have. Remember, they already have Brian Leach that just got suspended for 8 games, and now Dmitry Yushkevich is hurt for 6 months. Wow, ruptured bicep tendon. So I guess it happened against the Leafs, so I guess the Leafs are not winning many games, but they are going to be playing physical. Oh God. So we are now playing in Tampa Bay, so we have a quick Florida trip. We're playing the 2 Florida teams in 2 days. First stop is in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is struggling yet again. They are 5-18-2 for 12 points. Let's see if their roster explains why they're doing so bad. No injuries, so they can't blame it on that. So yeah, they still have Zach Bjork and Blaine Laker in net. That's probably not good enough. Sean Chambers, Paul Maurer, Pavel Kubina, Darren Van Imp, Mark Bergevin, Joe Ricky, Skopintsov, Andy. That's average. That's not overly terrible, but it's definitely not all that great. Mikael Anderson. Benoit Brunet is definitely not doing much better for them than he did for me. Chris Gratton, Brent Gretzky still playing. Oh, they have Jody All now. Long time Ottawa Senators, Jody All, 5 points in 25 games. Alright, yeah, they really don't have that great of a team. I really want to win here. See how I didn't say I need a win, I just want to win, because we are playing a team that's really struggling. We should be able to beat them. And we won, 3-1. Great start to the month. Home, on the road, doesn't matter. We are chaining wins. And we haven't done that very often since the start of that playthrough. So we're episode 49, I think. So finally, episode 49. 49 episodes in, almost 49 hours of our time. And we are finally getting wins on a regular basis. Alright, so we outshot them 28-24, so that definitely wasn't an offensive outburst or anything like that. Alexei Yashin was the first star with a goal and 2 assists. Rob DiMaio for Tampa Bay was the second star with an assist, and Roman Hamrlik for us was the third star with 2 assists. Brian McCabe scored his first goal of the season, assisted by Yashin and Hamrlik. Then Yashin scored from Holmstrom and Kalle Johansson. And Bill Guerin sealed it in an empty net from Roman Hamrlik and Alexei Yashin. Alright, and now we are going to be playing in Florida. Suspension over for Drake Berehowski. He is back in the lineup in Nashville. Alright, so the Panthers are also not doing all that great. They are 8-15-1 for 17 points. So let's take a look at their record, their roster, sorry. Right, still have Van Bee's broken net. He's getting older. Still pretty good, though. And he's signed for 4 more years. And then they have Brian Boucher as the backup. They have Dan Boyle and Milan Tiki hurt. Oh, yeah, Dan Boyle was having a pretty good start to the season, too. He had 9 points in 13 games, but now he's hurt, so he's not going to be playing. So we have Kenny Janssen, Bill Older, Philip Kuba, Steve Staios, Chris Allen, Bobby Dallas, Carl Dykhouse, and Ed Jovanovski on these. So these all right. I mean, especially if they would have the Dan Boyle there, if he wasn't hurt, definitely would be a pretty good one. It's on offense. Seems like the Panthers have been struggling to put together a decent offense since they entered the league. So, Dion Kawasha, Mats Lindgren, Christian Uzelius, Sergei Samsonov. At least they got Samsonov. They got somebody that can play. Oh God, yeah. That offense is definitely not there yet. They have a couple good young players, but they are not developed right now. Alright, we're going with Mike Dunham for the kill, and they are going with Brian Boucher. And we won in overtime, so that game required overtime, but we still won. We still have not lost in December. That's pretty awesome. I need to stop mentioning it. I'm going to jinx myself. The hockey gods are not going to like that. We all know hockey players are super superstitious. So, anyway. So we completely dominated this game. We outshot them 47-17. So really, they brought it to overtime because Mike Dunham was not all that great. Bill Guerin was the first star with a goal and an assist. Mats Lindgren was the second star with an assist. And Lonnie Loach had 2 goals and was the third star. So Bill Guerin scored on the power play from Zvela Nieuwendyk. Then Lonnie Loach tied the game on the power play from Alexei Yashin. And Lonnie Loach scored in overtime on the power play again from Bill Guerin and Joe Nieuwendyk. Wow. So thank you, power play. We were 3 for what? 3 for 9. Wow, there were a lot of penalties. Alexander Degg improves at left wing. Alright, you're getting more versatile. I might be able to trade you. Alright, Jason Allison's point streak ended at 16 games. He was held scoreless against the Kings. Teemu Selanne extends his point streak to 12 games. He had 2 goals against the Montreal Canadiens. And Norm McIver is about to come back from injury. And we're playing our next game at home against the Phoenix Coyotes. Ken Daneyko has recorded 1,000 games played, so played against the Flyers in his 1,000th game. The Devils are kind of struggling to start the season. The defending Stanley Cup champions having some issues here. McCarver is about to come back, we know that. Tom Chorsky helping a front move in December, getting hurt. Playing for Chicago, so out for 2 weeks. Matthew Schneider extends his point streak to 12 games. He had an assist against Dallas. Pretty good. Oh, there's been a trade between the Florida Panthers and the Vancouver Canucks. Garth Snow is going to Vancouver, and František Kucera is going to Florida. That's interesting. Sadly for Florida, what they need is, a good forward. So they're making their D even better, but what they really need, is love. What they really need is a forward. All right, playing Phoenix. We won in Phoenix at the start of the season. It was a 4-3 win. Phoenix is not doing too hot right now. They are 8-13-1, so they definitely could do better. So hopefully not against us. I like this undefeated streak that I have going. So Frédéric Chabot is going to be in net for Phoenix. We're going with Kurt McLean. And we won 3-2. So the streak continues. Oh, that was a pretty offensive game. We outshot Phoenix 42-40. That's pretty good. If you like, run and gun style, that's pretty good. Roman Amerlik was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Teppo Numinen for Phoenix was a second star with 2 assists, and Kirk McLean had 38 saves for the third star. So Kirk McLean has been Kirk McLean and Mike Dunham have been kind of splitting games, and McLean has been playing better. So I don't have a problem with that. The veteran doesn't want to be relegated to a backup position. So, and we barely had over 10,000 people in attendance, so it looks like we're slowly raising our average. We're not really in the 7,000s anymore, so that's good. That's still not great, but we're doing better. So Matt Cullen scored, assisted by Roman Amerlik. Joe Nieuwendyk scored from Robert Zvela, and then in the third period, Mike Seninger scored the game winner, assisted by Magnus Arvidsson. Oh, after this loss, the rumors have started where there might be a coaching change in Phoenix. John Paddock could be out of a job. And we held Teemu Selanne pointless, so his streak ended at 12 games. Good job, Sans. Alright, strong game for Oleg Petrov of all people. He now plays for Detroit. He has 3 goals, so a hat-trick for Oleg Petrov against Carolina. Wow, he scored all the goals for the... Oh, and it's a natural hat-trick too. All of the goals were scored in the first period in succession without any other goals being scored. Wow, natural hat-trick for Oleg Petrov. Matthew Schneider's point streak ended at 12 games, so held pointless against Nashville. Jaromir Jagr extends his point streak to 15 games. He had 3 assists against the Blues. Memorable night for Randy Cunnyworth, the veteran, 37 years old. Randy Cunnyworth scored a hat-trick, 3 goals in that same game against the Blues. All right, Norm McIver is ready to come back. Can I? Yep, I can bring him back up. Sorry, Sammy Salo, that means you're going back down. Alright, next game is going to be against the Bruins. Dennis Peterson is put on waivers. I don't think so. That's probably the best player that has come on waivers since the start of the season. Not talking about prior to the season, but since the start of the season. And I mean, that's not a great pickup. You obviously during the season you don't see great players on the waivers, but sometimes you can find a gem prior to the season starting. All right, so what do we have here? Scott Young is back from suspension in Edmonton. Ulf Dallin has 600 points in his career with a 2 goals performance against St. Louis. Pretty good. Jaromir Jagr extends his point streak to 16 games. He had a goal and an assist against Tampa Bay. Alright, Jaromir Jagr extends his point streak to 17 games now. He had a goal and 2 assists against the Florida Panthers. Alright, so we are playing in Boston tonight. Boston is 13-11-3 for 29 points. That puts them 9th in the East, so they are not in a playoff position. We have not played Boston so far this year, so we're going to take a look at their roster. They have Dave Laurie that's out for 1 to 2 months with a torn rotator cuff. Wow, usually that's pitchers in baseball that have that kind of injury. I mean, of course it can happen in other sports, but I guess pitchers in baseball are more susceptible to it because of what they do. Alright, and Dave Reed needs to spend 1 more day there, even though he is healthy. So Manny Fernandez and Yevgeny Nabokov that they snatched from us. We need to win 8-0 just to avenge that. Gordon Murphy, Sandis Azalinj, Don Sweeney, Matthias Timander, Bob Booner, Ray Borg, Craig Rivet, Jason Yor. Okay, that D's pretty good. The goaltending's pretty good. The D's pretty good. The forwards are pretty good too. I'm not sure why they're struggling. Well, they're doing okay. They could do better though. Maybe it's a coaching thing at this point. So Stampel, Donato, Ken Manderville, Ram Murray, Thornton, George Juno, Adam Oates, Keith Primer. Wow, look at those centers, man. Wow. They are pretty good. They're better than what their record shows, so I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared that I'm going to lose my first game in December. Alright, we are going with Kirk McLean. He's been playing pretty good of late. Playing against Yevgeny Nabokov. Let's make him regret not signing with us. We lost 3-2, so Nabokov has the last laugh. He's like, haha, I chose a right team. There I go, and I beat them. We were outshot 35-29. Not much else there. Adam Oates was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Daniel Alfredson was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Josef Stumpel, third star with 2 assists. So we have Mike Ratji that scored from Daniel Alfredson and Vili Peltonen. Then Alfredson shorthanded from Mike Ratchi and Roman Hammerlick. So Ratchi had a 2-point game. Sadly, we lost. Andreas Dackel is injured. Oh, he's going to miss 3 months with a fractured tibia. Yikes. I bet it wasn't pretty to see. Alright, so Andreas Dackel to the injury list. We are recalling probably Patrick Marleau, but let's take a look. Let's see if somebody else is deserving. Alright, so Patrick Marleau. Not doing too much down there, are you? Man, I almost want to call up Ivan Ciernik. He's tearing it down there. 20 points in 24 games. But he's only an alpha star. You know what? I can't ignore Ivan Ciernik's good play in the minors, so we're recalling him for now. I know he's only an alpha star. He's probably not going to play all that much, to be honest, but he deserves to be making NHL money. He's been putting up a real good stretch down there, and oh, I never realized that Ivan Ciernik was that big. I don't know if it's the development of him in my game, or if it's a typo that they made when they entered the stats, or if he really was that big and I never realized. But he was 6'1", 234 pounds. Alright, Wayne Gretzky lights the lamp. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Islanders. So Wayne Gretzky still has got it. Right, playing against the Carolina Hurricanes. We did lose against them at home earlier this season, 6-1. So they did beat us. Carolina is 10-14-6 on the season, so kind of a disappointing season for them, but they are playing in such a crappy division that despite that record, they are third in the East because of the seeding that I kind of explained briefly earlier. So they are going with Sean Burke. We're going with Mike Dunham. And we won 3-2. So another win for the Sens here. So we outshot them 29-21. We had yet again just a little bit over 10,000 people in attendance. 10,149. And look at that. Ivan Ciernik, first game in the NHL, first star with an assist. Pat Verbeek was the second star with an assist. And Daniel Alfredson, third star with an assist as well. So Bill Guerin scored on the power play from Joe Nieuwendyk. Kalle Johansson from Roberts Vela and Ivan Ciernik, and then Alexei Yashin with the game winner, assisted by Daniel Alfredson. Norm McIver sidelined again. He has a strained back muscle. At least he didn't get a hurt back because he was helping a friend move. It happens during a game. He's going to miss 3 weeks. Alright, so looks like this season we're having a little bit of the injury bug again. I'm going to recall Sami Salo again. He scored a goal in his first game. Alright, and next game is going to be at home against Dallas in 2 days. We are approaching Christmas. There are 5 games left in the month. Alright, Tony Amante has a great game. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Flames. Jaromir Jagr extends his point streak to 18 games, 2 assists against the Capitals. Capitals keep losing. Not good for them. Sheldon Surrey ready to return to ice, so he's about 2 weeks away. And Phoenix players reinstating the Team Kangaroo Court. Phil Housley is going to catch a young guy stepping on the logo. Alright, and we are hosting the Dallas Stars. Dallas is doing pretty good this year. Actually, they have the same amount of points as we do. They are 17-8-3. So it looks like Dallas is starting to turn it around. They had a few rough seasons in the past few sims and everything, but it looks like they're turning it around now. It's all offense for them, really, because the goaltending and the D is really nothing to write home about. They do have Turco in net, but he's 23. He's not developed yet. And then they have, is it Marc Lamotte, I think? Yeah, Marc Lamotte as the backup. So really, the goaltending's not impressive. On D, it's really not impressive either. So it's Patrick Boileau, Mike Crawley, Dave Manson, Kerry Hoffman, Namestnikov, Yves Rassin, Mikhail Tatarinov, and Blake Sloan. Those are the D's. That's not good. That D is really not very good. It's aging, and it's... The forwards, though, are pretty good. So Corbett, Dallin, Mike Hudson, Mike McPhee, Armstrong, Jerome McGinley, Darby, Dave Gagne, Mike Modano, Ross Courtnall, Yeri Letsonen, Troy Mallet, Trent Klatt. So doing better on forwards. So they are, as far as I'm concerned, they are playing above their heads right now. So they have to be pretty happy with the start of their seasons, because that D and goaltending is just downright scary. Alright, they're going with Marc Lamotte. Oh, it looks like he's the starter. They're not even starting Turco. So, Marc Lamotte is the starter for them. We are going with Kirk McLean. And it's a tie, 2-2 tie. So, they do have a good record, so I have to respect that. On paper, their roster, I feel like I should have won, but, you know, that's not always how it happened. Wow, they outplayed us. They had 29 shots. We had only 19. And we gave the puck away 11 times, so that's not good. Thomas Holmstrom was the first star of the game for us with a goal and an assist. Mike Modano was the second star with a goal, and Mike Ratchie, third star with an assist. And we had almost 11,000 people in attendance. That would be a record for us. So Yashin scored from Mike Ratchie and Thomas Holmstrom, and Thomas Holmstrom tied the game in the third period, assisted by Mario Nosa, and nobody scored in overtime. Suspension for Rob DeMaio in Tampa Bay. He's going to miss 9 games. That's been a few times you've been suspended, buddy. Steve Larmer and John McLean pitched in at a local homeless shelter. They are playing for New Jersey. Steve Larmer getting a little old there. His ability has decreased. So next game is in 2 days. We are going to be playing the Montreal Canadiens. Ooh, Ray Bourque is suspended in Boston. He's going to miss 1 game. And Jaromir Jagr extends his point streak to 19 games with an assist against the Leafs. Oh, so Vancouver just traded for Garth Snow this month, and now Garth Snow is out 5 months with an injury, so that's not good. A fractured coracoid bone in his shoulder. Brett Hull scored his 600th goal of his career. He scored a goal against New York, the New York Islanders. Jaromir Jagr extends his point streak to 20 games while he's on a tear. 2 goals and an assist against the Kings. Alright, so last game before the quick Christmas break. So we are facing the Montreal Canadiens at home. Montreal is 13, 11, and 8. So they have only 4. They're only 4 points behind us because they're tying a lot. Yeah, they are second in our division. So with a win, they're going to be only 2 points behind us after that. So, yeah. Let's see. We are 1-1 against Montreal this year. We won 2-1 and lost 5-3. Let's beat Montreal. I always want to beat Montreal. Always feels good. They are going with Patrick Roy. We are going with Kirk McLean again. So it looks like Kirk McLean kind of has taken over the starter job. I don't mind. We're winning. You know what? Fine with me. Alright, go Sens go. And it's a 2-2 tie. Alright, I guess I'll take it. They are not making any ground on us, so I'll take that over a loss. We outshot them 29-25. We had 10,010 people in attendance. Then Alexei Yashin was the first star of the game. He had a goal. Saku Koivu for Montreal had 2 assists. He was the second star. And Peltonen was the third star with an assist. So I could have had Koivu in that trade when I traded Marianosa. But I wisely chose Joe Nieuwendyk. Even though Koivu would have had at least the opportunity to stay on the team a lot longer, I felt that Nieuwendyk was the better pick, and so far he's proving me right. So Nieuwendyk scored, speaking of, assisted by Brian McCabe and Vili Peltonen, and then Alexei Yashin tied the game, assisted by Mike Radji, and nobody scored in the third or in overtime. Alright, Ray Bourque is back from suspension. A night to remember for Chris Chelios. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against Phoenix. And in that same game, Teemu Selanne had a strong night. He had a hat-trick as well. So 2 hat-tricks in the same game for players of opposing teams. But Phoenix won 7-4. I never, played in the NHL or anything, obviously, but probably feels better to score a hat-trick in a winning game than scoring a hat-trick in a lost cause. Probably just me thinking out loud. Alright, and Norm McIver is gonna start training again soon, so he's about 2 weeks away. And then, right after the break, we're going to go and play in Pittsburgh, who are ahead of us in the standings. Actually, it's the only team in the East that's ahead of us. Well, probably because of seeding. They're in the strongest division, so let's see. Yeah, Philadelphia has 43 points. Rangers have 40. Alright, so Mike Fontaine is available on waivers. Not gonna pick him up. And Pittsburgh is 25-5 for 45 points. They are pretty good. And we lost the only game of the season we played against them so far. We lost 5-2 at home. Now we are playing them in Pittsburgh. 3 games left in December. Let's see if we can continue our really great month of December. Seriously, it's been a really good month. Alright, Kirk McLean for us. Peleos Kudra for Pittsburgh. And it's another tie, 6-6. A pretty offensive game. Goaltenders left to themselves. Not D'ing. Oh, we were outshot 46-34. And Martin Straka was the first. No, Martin Straka plays for Pittsburgh. I didn't go and trade for him. So Straka was the first star for Pittsburgh. He had 2 assists. Mike Selinger for us was the second star. He had 3 assists. And Ron Francis had 2 assists. He was the third star. So Peltonen scored 9 seconds into the game from Joe Nieuwendyk and Kalle Johansson. Then Magnus Arvidsson from Marian Osa and Mike Selinger. Kalle Johansson on the power play from Vili Peltonen. Yashin from Mike Selinger and Thomas Holmstrom. Roman Amerlik scored short-handed from Mike Radji and Mike Selinger. Then in the third period, Bill Guerin scored from Thomas Holmstrom. And then Adrian Aucoin tied the game with 38 seconds to go in the third to bring it in overtime. And nobody scored there. And in that game, Jaromir Jagr extended his point streak to 21 games. He had a goal and an assist. So we could not stop him. We stopped Selanne earlier in the season, but we did not stop Jaromir Jagr. Next game is going to be against the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Brian Leach back from suspension with the Rangers. And Trevor Letowski is the player that stepped on the logo in Phoenix. All right. We are playing the Ducks. The Ducks are, they're doing okay, I guess. They're playing for 500. They are 14, 14, and 4. And we're going to look at their lineup. All right, they have Rich Pillen, that's hurt with a concussion, and Steve Ruchin is also hurt, so he's not going to play. So probably their best center, more than likely. Oh, yeah. Alright, and they also have Darian Hatcher, that's not going to play this game. So Dan Cloutier and Félix Potvin in net. That's pretty alright. Peter Aula, Bancroft, Oleg Taradovsky, Ruslan Salitat, Gill, Hatcher, Schmelik. Yeah, they have a few decent players. Yeah. But the rest of the lineup is really average, which kind of is indicated by their record, their average record. But back in the 90s, with an average record, you could make the playoffs. So they are going with Félix Potvin net. We are still riding Kirk McLean until he gives up, I guess. And we lost 6-3. I felt the loss coming. We didn't lose very much this month, so I guess it was just coming. So we outshot them 37-35. We didn't have a lot of people for that game. 8,323. Mark Mowers for Anaheim was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Richard Schmelik had a goal and an assist, and he was the second star. And Paul Carey had 2 goals, was the third star. So for our 3 goals, we have Joe Nieuwendyk, who scored on the power play from Zvela and Lonnie Loach. That was 1-1 at that time. Then Alexei Yashin from Thomas Omstrom. And then Kalle Johansson from Daniel Alfredson and Joe Nieuwendyk. And at that point, we were up 3-2, but they scored 4 unanswered in the third period. And that was it. Alexei Yashin extends his goal streak to 5 games. So yeah, he scored a goal in that game. That's good. Alright, so we have 1 more game left in 2 days. We're going to be playing in Buffalo. Dale Howard-Chuck has recorded 600 goals. So got a goal against New Jersey right before playing us. Derek King has a strong game with the Kings. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals. Open Ice leads to a productive night for Robert Lang, who had 4 assists in that same game. It was against Phoenix. And Leaf Rollin in San Jose is suspended. He's going to miss 5 games. Grant Fuhr has reached 800 games played. So Grant Fuhr now playing for Philadelphia. Was traded not too long ago. Played in 800 games in his career. And we are now playing in Buffalo against the Sabres. We did win against them in Buffalo earlier this year, 5-3. We're playing in Buffalo again. The Sabres right now are 13, 11, and 7 for 33 points. We have 40 points. So let's end 1998 with a win. That would be great. Alright, we're going back to Mike Dunham. Kirk McLean didn't have that great of a game last game, so we're going back to Dunham. They are going with Dominik Hasek, of course. And it's another tie, 4-4. Wow, we've tied a lot to end the year. So we haven't won in a while, but overall we did have a pretty good month. So 4-4 tie against Buffalo. We completely outshot them 50-24. So Dominik Hasek really played well and allowed his team to get a point here. Peter Svoboda was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Daniel Alfredson was the second star. He had 3 assists. And Dave Andreychuk, third star with a goal and an assist. So Zvela scored on the power play from Alfredson and Guerin. Peltonen scored short-handed from McCabe and Alfredson, so we were up 2-1 after 1. And then Buffalo scored 2 goals in the second, so we were trailing 3-2. And then we were trailing 4-2 on the Pat Lafontaine goal. And then Robert Zvela scored from Alfredson and Brian McCabe from Yashin and Bill Guerin to tie the game, and that was all she wrote. Jaromir Jagr extends his point streak to 22 games. He is unstoppable. He had 2 goals against Florida. Alright, and the player poll results. The best skater is Pavel Bure of Vancouver. Hardest shot, Al McInnes. Smartest, Wayne Gretzky. Toughest, Ty Domi. Fastest, Pavel Bure. Best role model, Steve Yzerman. The cleanest, Martin St. Louis. New name. Toughest goalie to beat, Dominic Hasek, and coach you'd most like to play for is still Scotty Bowman in Pittsburgh. Alright, and we are going to advance this to January 1st, 1999. We're almost at the 2000s, guys. Almost there. Mark Recchi has tallied 500 assists in his career. He had an assist against Vancouver. Trevor Linden extends his goal streak to 5 with a goal in that same game. All right. And the players of the month were Jaromir Jagr. Obviously, he's been getting points in every game. Pretty sure. Yeah, it's 21, 22 games, of course. And Ed Belfour was the goaltender of the month. So, those are having great seasons. I'm going to save just in case. Alright, and now we're going to take a look at the standings. So we are still second in the East, doing pretty good. We have 41 points. Again, that's because of the way the seeding works. I mean, if you look at Carolina with their measly 30 points in 36 games, they are third. And that's because the rest of the division, the best team after them is Washington with 27 points, which puts them 11th. So, yeah. Alright, so we're doing pretty good. I cannot complain. Second in the East. Maybe that the hockey gods are finally rewarding us. The Kings are still doing pretty awesome in the West. Actually, they are the best team in the league. The Kings are 22-8-6 for 50 points. Although they did play 4 more games than Pittsburgh, so there's a chance that Pittsburgh actually catches with them. So Anaheim is in a playoff spot position. That's cool. So is San Jose. I like that. Oh my God, the poor Blues fans. It's getting worse and worse for them. They have only 4 wins on the year in 32 games. Things are not going well in St. Louis. Maybe it's time to go get Brettel from them. Alright, so we still have some injuries. Although Sheldon Surrey should be coming back pretty soon. So that's good. Let's take a look at our stats. Alright, so Johnny Van Dyke has had a pretty good month again, although he did kind of slow down a little bit towards the end of the month. Didn't say his name as much, but still 41 points in 33 games. That's really good. Yashin is pretty close to the point per game pace too. He has 31 points in 33 games. And Alfredson, 26 points in 33 games. And our best defenseman offensively is Robert Zvela with 21 points in 28 games. So almost a point, well, pretty close to a point per game pace for our defenseman. And then it starts, to dwindle down and whatnot. So, yeah, guys like Arvidsson and Daigle are really not doing all that great. So, not too happy with that. Kind of why they're on the trading block. Alright, so that's where we are at. Now, if we look in the league, Jaromir Jagr is the best goal scorer. He has 26 goals on the season so far. Pavel Bure has 36 assists. He's the best passer. Pavel Bure was a little bit more of a goal scorer. Well, he was a pretty well-rounded offensive player, to be honest. And Jagr is the best scorer in the league. Obviously, that streak he has going is probably helping him here. So he has 58 points on the year. Gretzky has 55, and Lemieux and Fyodorov have 52 each. So Joe Nieuwendyk is 10th with 41 points. So we haven't seen that much. We did have, Yashin up in the goal scoring category a few times, but for the points on the season, I believe that's the first time we've seen one of our guys in the top 12 there, so that's pretty encouraging. All right, and Matt Cullen is the best guy in the league on the playoffs, so that's also good. All right, I believe I saved already. I'm going to save again. Nothing wrong with that. Alrighty, so we are doing great. I might want to not make too many changes to my team because we're doing so good. I need to not fall in that trap and be complacent, so I need to not do that. But anyway, so that's where we are. We are doing awesome, and as usual, thank you for tuning in. And if you've liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. That's always appreciated, and I do mean it. And until I roll this game again, see you guys next time. Thank you.